Gulfstream Park.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defoe, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And yes, it's Friday, but no, we're not at Gulfstream Park 10 Palms as usual, but this is a Gulfstream Park 10 Palms edition of the Lunchbox, and it's kind of like the way they conducted the Belmont Steaks at Saratoga. We're doing our Friday Gulfstream show today at Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale, one of our favorite spots on the Lunchbox tour. Brian and Sonata, they're doing a great job. We're going to be having some good fare, some very good comfort food for this rainy week. And joining us today, you see no Defoe, but we do have Ken, the professor, is filling in. How are you today, sir?
I'm excellent, and thank you for inviting me. And let me just say, what a great idea it was for you to have me out to a Boston cheesesteak themed place on the day where the Celtics very well likely will clinch the NBA title, and assume I won't say something wildly offensive to the owners.
For those of you not familiar,
great game plan, Coach.
The backstory with the professor, who is a regular on the morning Defoe show, the Defoe and Lubie sports-oriented talk show. But the professor hates the city of Boston and all their sports team with a passion that usually is reserved with me and Houston's restaurant. I mean,
yes, honestly.
It's kind of like a similar
You forgot
thing.
all the actors and creative people, too.
Boston, right,
like
right.
anything
Ben
Boston.
Affleck, Matt Damon.
Food items. And
How about them there apples, Johnny? All right. Well, yeah, what a day that when the Celtics can win, is it number 18 title?
I believe so, yes.
And of course, we will celebrate with some wicked good food here. Wicked Cheesesteaks, for those who have never been here, you got to get here. And it's one of the now, favorites of the Let's Eat South Florida group. 4826 North Federal Highway, conveniently located right across from Holy Cross Hospital. So as soon as you go see your cardiologist and get the green light and say, oh yeah, your arteries are completely clear, you come right over here, and then you start down on the good cheesesteaks. And we've got some wings to start off to the show today. And I think that's even something that's friendly for your diet and mine, Professor, correct?
Relatively.
That's good. This is a good thing. Lubie, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. After last night, it was nice to see the Cats do what Defoe and I were not thinking would happen, but you were thinking would happen. And being up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals after the first two endeavors in the Stanley Cup Finals has me really excited for this weekend and seeing what happens. I don't know about tonight, but what happens hopefully tomorrow night.
Yeah, and before we get into that, I just did want to raise a toast because you see here at Wicked Cheesesteaks, Brian has a great collection of root beers and other sodas and pops, but for some reason he really gets into the root beers. And right now I'm not so much into the sugary beverages, but one of his offerings in the case is the Diet Dad's root beer, and I figure what more appropriate time to be cracking open a Dad's diet root beer than Father's Day weekend is upon us.
And I am having a Hank's, which is excellent. So if your father happens to be named Hank.
I was going to ask, is your dad named Hank?
No.
No.
But I did consider Hank Hill of King of the Hill
I love Hank Hill.
sort of a pseudo father. So
I actually went to college with and was in the same fraternity. We were both founding fathers of the Sig Ep chapter.
You started Sig Ep?
A Sig Ep chapter that we started as kind of the anti-fraternity. We didn't have hazing.
It's not like that now.
I know.
Sig Ep is like the definition of
they've
fraternity.
gotten banned on the Tufts campus, but we started off without even a house. It was just kind of in a off-campus apartment. Whatever. Hank Azaria,
really?
a famous actor on The Simpsons, was a Tufts contemporary of mine who was actually in the Sig Ep founding father.
and now known for his racist version of Apu, the storekeeper.
Which is so funny because everyone loves that character.
All right. Well, it's funny how times change.
It
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
funny,
I
'cause I
know.
love that character.
They've done an episode basically of how times change and we can't do this voice
Right.
anymore because it's offensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of India, I was on the phone with a very nice representative of my propane gas company who was in India named Sahil today
Okay.
because my propane tank had gotten dislodged from its moorings again in this flood and knocked over and snapped. It's not leaking, but I just told them to take the whole damn thing away. But this rep was in India, and I appreciated the fact that Sahil gave me his real name and then say, "My name is Joe."
Oh, he did do that.
No, he said, "My name is Sahil," and then
Wonderful.
he started. Not only was he familiar with our weather calamities here in South Florida, he was inquiring about whether it was going to be impacting the big. I guess there's a World Series of cricket that's taking
Yes,
place
it's been
right
going
here
on.
in Lauderhill.
Yes, I'm going
And he
Yes.
said one of the big test matches is involving India and might be postponed due to the weather. And I told him that it stopped raining, but hopefully the pitch is that what they
And
call it?
the World
think it's
Junior
pitch.
Championships are also going on, but not down here. And the U.S. beat Pakistan.
USA actually.
Well,
did
this
pretty
is
well.
now we're sounding like Sarney because he sent me the bulletin the other day
I
when
mean,
the
that's
U.S.
a big
beat.
thing. That's like Pakistan beating us in football.
Or yeah, I guess that's right. I mean,
No, that's their
Pakistan,
sport. That's their sport.
India, those two countries and teams don't like each other, but they are the dominant factors in cricket and also
Cricket, yes.
squash. I think I know when I went to school at Tufts, there was some world-renowned squash players, and they also were from Pakistan. So
And
how we
good,
got here,
good bit of trivia because you keep mentioning Tufts. U.S. Open being played at Pinehurst Number 2, which was founded and built by
P.T. Barnum.
Charles Tufts.
Oh, Charles Tufts, because Charles Tufts is one of the founders of the school, but one of the original trustees of the school at Tufts was Phineas T. Barnum of circus fame.
Really?
And that is why we have one of the more bizarre mascots in the history of college sports, Jumbo the Elephant. Jumbo the Elephant.
So you went to a school that P.T. Barnum was on the board for, you said?
He was on the board of trustees when they first founded it. Charles Tufts
And
founded it.
Lubie went to FSU where they have
had
their
a
clown
circus.
college.
They have a
Yes.
clown college, and I went to a clown trustee school. But Jumbo the Elephant was one of the big circus attractions in the late 1800s. And then when Jumbo perished, they donated his remains and his carcass to the school. I don't know if they did it in some of the biology labs, but then they ended up they did a stuffed pachyderm. The taxidermist had Jumbo was preserved and put into the main administrative hall until it was consumed by a fire. So Jumbo burned, but they memorialized Jumbo the Elephant by making him the mascot of Tufts University.
As opposed to Topsy the elephant, who Thomas Edison electrocuted to death in public in an attempt to discredit Tesla, because it turns out Thomas Edison was just a raging psychopath.
Yeah, he was sort of a one. Yeah.
What a great start to the show today. Had no idea we would be talking about these things, but this is why we have the professor
Yeah,
here.
he takes
And
it
I
anywhere and
have to
everywhere.
know, do you have a doctorate or a PhD? Do I address you as Dr. Ken?
I
or is
did.
it
I
just-
didn't. Defoe and Lubie started that crap. I don't even like it. Ken's fine.
Okay, because Shaq goes around with this bogus doctorate of education where people call him Dr. O'Neill now.
I don't think it's bogus. I think he legitimately went and got the degree.
Oh, when I was the news columnist, I did a little bit of research about
okay.
what his doctorate entailed. And it entailed like writing a research paper on behind the scenes of an NBA game
really?
show or something. It was like the most, like even at FSU, they would have been ashamed about the level of scholarship that went into this
Okay.
paper.
This has been a topic of conversation. Can we get into this for a second? Because it came up with, obviously, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill, and people being very aggravated that people don't want to call her Dr. Jill. Let me be very clear. If you can't write me a script for OxyContin, I'm not calling you doctor. And I went to high school with a principal who was one of those, no, you must call me doctor people, who's turned out his doctorate was in physical education. He literally had a doctorate of PE and expected people to call him doctor.
not even ED, like, because there's doctorates of education and then there's
Right.
PhDs
Physical education.
and then physical education. Yeah.
and went around insisting people call him doctor.
Oh, look, Jim Sarney, the man that
Which
we love to disparage lately and who is reveling in the U.S. Junior victory over Pakistan in the cricket thing.
Which again,
He's joined us here.
Joe Biden also part of it with the you have to call him. I'm Dr. Jill. Again, if you can't write me a script for some drugs, I'm not calling you doctor.
Let me ask you this, because my dad was a dentist, a DDS. Is a DDS a doctor? Because he was
No.
Dr. Mayo.
No.
And what about doctors of osteopathy, DOs?
No, that's fake.
I think they
That's,
can.
you might as well just give
He
people.
said that.
No.
Might as well
Fake.
give Indian shamans and voodoo doctors.
But according to your criteria, DOs would be considered because my DO, my doctor, is a DO, and he does write scripts.
for the good
Unfortunately-
stuff, or does he write scripts for
I've never asked him for the oxy
like
thing.
the Tylenol 3s that anybody could get?
Well, that you can get over the counter in Edmonton in Canada.
Yes,
they
like
sell
the
those
dum-dums. I'm
codeine
well aware.
infused Tylenol. And that brings us back to the Panthers. And what a good job they did last night. And again, they go up 4-1 and then they go into a little bit of coasting mode where, they gave up a couple of third period goals. It was uncharacteristic. And I think maybe that's finally where we saw the travel and I don't want to say jet lag, but, they didn't leave town until the day before the game. And there was a little bit of stressful conditions in terms of the weather.
Oh, they got there literally Wednesday night.
So again, they got into town before, the night before the game. But usually we see them get stronger in the end in the third period, and last night we saw them get weaker and allow a couple of goals. But it got a little exciting at the end. But here we are. We're on the verge of a Stanley Cup sweep. We're all kicking ourselves because we all said Panthers in 6 at 5-1, which is what I bet. And
Oh, you did
Panther-
actually bet it. Oh, God.
$5, to make 25, get back $30.
I don't know about the sweep. I don't know if it's getting.
So you had them putting
hope
it
it
away
isn't
on the
there.
road, just not.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
not
now.
in game
Just
4.
not
Now,
now.
11-1 looks pretty tempting. And then Panthers in 5, doing the gentleman's sweep and being able to wrap it up at home.
And getting an
It's
extra game
looking-
worth of revenue.
Yeah, that looks likely. But, they don't care about the extra revenue. The players just want to get the cup as soon as you can, whenever you can. But it's exciting. And I guess the analogy I use, Lubie, is Edmonton looks the same way that the Panthers of '96 did against Colorado
That's actually what
Avalanche.
Ken said this morning.
And
Ken
wow.
said something very similar this morning.
And that's what I think I texted last night to several people in Cuba.
You
It's
did.
just like they look outclassed. They just look frustrated that they can't get a
There's
goal.
only so
Yeah,
much they can do.
they got a couple of goals finally last night. They broke the dam, but it's even too little too late.
I mean, the goals they got were ridiculous, though.
Yeah, but
It was like stuff that the Panthers did let the funny thing is the Panthers didn't stop playing aggressive. They actually didn't go in coast mode. What happened was they let their guard down for 2 plays because if you notice, they were getting way more opportunities than the Oilers, even within those 2 goals.
but let's
They
face it.
just had 2 stupid, dumb, bonehead
Lubie
moments.
has become the Bundini Brown of the Florida Panthers. Like such a hype man
He's great.
for the Panthers, which is it's great.
It's good to see.
I think honestly, if you go back and you look at it, and I heard somebody else say this, so it's not an original thought because I don't have any original thoughts about Canadian soccer.
Love the game.
If you look at it, the majority throughout the course of the series of the Florida Panthers goals have been on pretty glaring defensive mistakes by Edmonton.
giveaways.
Yes.
And Florida generally has not been making those mistakes. And in the third period, they made a couple
Yes.
of them.
Right.
And
Yes.
that was
Right. And it
sort
cost
of where Edmonton broke through. On the other hand, I would say, given the Oilers' behavior at the end of game 2, it's probably a good thing so the last 5 minutes didn't become another series of cheap shots.
Right.
Yep.
This is true.
Because it was
A
still
three-goal-
a competitive environment.
Good points.
Yeah, that's
He's
true. If it
making
was
good
4-1,
points.
So for the
it might have gotten out of hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the health of the Florida Panthers
Yeah.
and probably everybody else,
Well,
it's probably best
it
that
is,
it did get competitive.
And we'll
in the
see
last
what
couple
happens.
minutes.
It looks like, they do have a hammerlock on this series. It could be the first time that Lord Stanley's Cup is hoisted by the Panthers and brought back to South Florida for a boat parade on the New River, and then it will make its way around places
Is that what
all
they're
over
planning
town.
now? A boat
Yeah, they've
parade
always
on
talked
the
about that for
New
years.
This
River?
is what Vinny Viola spoke about when he first purchased the team, that he envisioned one day having, bringing Broward County its first professional team championship and having a boat parade down the New River. Will it still happen?
Didn't we learn anything a few years ago when the Bucks did the boat parade and they dropped the Super Bowl trophy into the water?
Did they fish it out?
I feel like Canadians drink a lot more. Hockey players in general drink a lot more than NFL players.
I think the Stanley
I think
Cup.
that's just begging for that thing to go into the New River.
I think it's been places and seen things that aren't even described
Well,
or talked
obviously.
about, and that
Well, no,
it's
it's the internet age. They're talked about.
it's-
Like everybody knows about Mark Messier taking it to the strip club.
well, if it goes to South Florida, it's gonna go to all kinds of
It'll do
clubs.
the-
Oh, look at this. This
This
is
is something we've
we've
never
got
had.
a new addition to
the
the
Ken
cheesesteak
request.
menu, which fitting in theme with last week's Belmont Steaks. This is the New Yorker cheesesteak, where you've got blended in a little bit of pastrami with your ribeye,
Exactly.
shaved ribeye, and this looks pretty delicious.
Yes, it does.
I'm going to let Ken take the first little bit of it here
Okay.
at Wicked Cheesesteaks. And again, it's a Gulfstream at Wicked Cheesesteaks show. We are going to be doing a contest in
Yes,
a little
we
bit.
will have a contest. for
And
those
we
of you.
are going to be
That's really
actually
good.
singing the praises of 10 Palms at Gulfstream. Now, the weather knocked them offline the last couple of days, but racing will resume tomorrow. 10 Palms will be open again for your Saturday festivities.
And the weather's
and-
clearing up finally.
It's clearing up. Track is drying out. I doubt we'll see any turf racing this weekend, but we will be seeing the dirt and the all-weather surface, the Tapeta. And on Sunday, Father's Day, 10 Palms at Gulfstream will be hosting a special Father's Day brunch, an enhanced buffet.
Yep.
The price is a little bit elevated, but so is the food. So it's $75 per person, and that includes a free draft beer for dad. That's included. And the enhanced buffet, besides having the carving station, the omelet station, all their usual great salads and mixes, they're going to be having a seafood buffet that includes the shrimp, the steamed shrimp, and all you can eat Blue Point oysters.
Oh,
and
okay.
for those who are raw oyster fans, they'll be happy to see that. They're also going to be having several entrees and other things, including meatballs and pasta, chicken Alfredo with shrimp.
Nice.
Shrimp Alfredo,
Alfredo, okay.
fettuccine Alfredo with shrimp, and then a whole host of other things. So if you
Nice.
want to get into Gulfstream with dad, it's a perfect way to spend Father's
Yep.
Day. You really treat dad to a day at the races, and everybody will be happy. You get to stay there all day. The 10 Palms, again, you don't have to get out in 2 hours like a lot of other brunch spots. You can stay and linger all day and bet the races from beginning to end. First post is going to be, I think, 12:55, and 10 Palms opens at 11:30 for brunch on Sunday. Go online to gulfstreampark.com/events, and you'll be able to make your reservations, or go on opentable.com, and you can find 10 Palms at Gulfstream at Open
You know what
Table.
this reminds me of? Is
Yes.
those stupid Frank Thomas commercials where he looks in it and she'll love it too. So go get dad boozed up and load him up on oysters and then let him loose on mom. And she'll love Father's Day too. Okay, can I say this is a really interesting and good cheesesteak. I guess I like a hybrid cheesesteak
yep,
with that horseradish sauce. It tastes almost like it's got a French dip element
Take
to
the
You
it.
want the middle or the end? What do you want?
Or
I'm going to
it
let
tastes
Lubie take
I'd rather
his.
than-
like
his
Arby's
choice.
would taste if Arby's cared about food instead of laundering Mexican drug money drug cartel money. This is a really nice sandwich. If you come here, I
nice
totally
sandwich.
recommend.
Okay.
I'm hesitant to call it a cheesesteak because it doesn't really have that classic cheesesteak taste to it.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's almost like a hybrid, but it's really good.
It's cheesy and it's meaty.
Mhm.
I've never been the biggest fan of plain old cheesesteak because I always thought that, you use good ribeye, but it really doesn't have any flavor unless you put the seasonings and even the cheese, depending on the cheese
Well,
you
it's the
use.
onions and the peppers.
You got to put it in with the onions and the peppers. And what Brian does here, he jazzes up his cheesesteaks sometimes. He uses a pepperoni and a pepperoni one. I forget what he calls that one. And then this pastrami one, to call it the New Yorker. Brilliant, because so many people.
But it's a nice, and he does a horseradish kind of a
Mhm.
glaze
Let me get in here for.
sauce on top of
I'm
it.
not going to do a big bite, but I just do want to take a taste
goes
of this.
really
This
well
looks
with-
intriguing.
Both the steak and the and the
Oh yeah,
pastrami.
that's really good.
I look. We talk about it all the time. Ken hasn't really got to experience Wicked, but yes, it's cheesesteaks and hasn't even Wicked, so they do lobster rolls and they do a great job with it. But they do a lot of different stuff for like a small place that usually just sticks to what they do. Brian actually has like a chef mentality where he's very creative, and he gets bored, so he likes doing different things. And we love embracing that here on the show, and we love embracing that every time we're here. So I like that Ken went out of the box with this call, and it turned out to be really good.
It's good. I'm digging that horseradish
Yep.
creamy sauce along with the cheese.
So it's like a different
I
element.
don't know
to it.
what kind of cheese, if he uses a Swiss to go for
I
like
think
that
it's Swiss.
Rachel.
It was Swiss. I think it was Swiss.
Yeah, the Rachel kind of aspect of it. As opposed to, here at Wicked Cheesesteaks, a lot of Philly people are like, oh, the only one is with whiz, and Cheese Whiz is not actual cheese. It's a
I don't mind a whiz on a cheesesteak.
I like whiz, but I understand it's not real cheese.
No,
I own it.
I prefer either he uses that it's called
White American.
Cooper White American.
Mhm.
It's become a really nice product. Good, it goes very well with the cheesesteaks. The Cooper White. I also like provolone, but again, I like provolone on my roast pork and broccoli rabe sandwiches, which are no longer available here. Unfortunately, the Mike Mayo sandwich has officially died because people just don't get it how good that roast pork, provolone, broccoli rabe, which I say should be the official sandwich of Philadelphia. Have you ever had one of those, Ken?
Actually, I have. My buddy CJ, who is now down at the Big Chill. So if you're watching the Panthers game Saturday night, you happen to be in Key Largo, the Big Chill Sports
Yeah, it's a
Bar,
great
say
place.
hi to CJ for us. He worked at an Italian sandwich place down on Commercial, which has since closed. But they did fantastic sandwiches, and one of their favorites was the roast pork and the broccoli. The guy was Glenn, who owned it at the time, now works out at Coconut Creek at the casino. He was from Philly too, so that was one of his, was the roast pork and broccoli rabe.
So we've covered some, Boston, New England food, lobster. We're going to have lobster mac and cheese, and that's in honor of Ken and the Celtics.
Don't do me any
We've
favors.
The New York meets Philly right
It's
here
a really- yeah,
in
that's a
our
really
New
good
Yorker
sandwich.
cheesesteak. But I did have a question getting back to the Panthers. Of our friend Dave Hyde is trying to make it there. He couldn't make it because of the weather for Game 3. He's, of course, longtime columnist and my former colleague at the Sun Sentinel. He's now taking, I guess, a cross-country
Circuitous route, yeah.
trip through Canada, stopping at every
Really Montreal
airport.
to then go to
Montreal, Toronto to Edmonton.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I've traveled with the Panthers in their early years. I never did draw the short straw to go to Edmonton. I did have to go to Winnipeg one time, and that was the coldest I've ever been in my life, minus 40 degrees, and that was without the wind chill.
Jesus.
But Edmonton, food, Alberta, what is food? What is the signature food item when
I can
one
look
goes to
online.
Edmonton?
I don't know personally.
I mean, what Edmonton's known for is like the gigantic mall, so I'm assuming it's like food court food. I'm assuming like the cuisine of Edmonton is like Sbarro and Panda Express.
I don't know, because Vancouver has a huge Asian
Tim
community.
Hortons.
Asian, Vancouver is known for their Asian and
Correct.
Chinatown.
And there's
Of course, Montreal is considered like little, Paris, little
Like
Quebec.
France, yeah.
But they have their own bastardization, the poutine, which is the French fries
Ken's
gravy.
favorite.
disgusting.
I kind of like it.
I
And
like poutine too, but I understand the idea of it is weird.
and an inferior bagel product that they claim is better.
Yeah, it's smaller and denser, and they do have good smoked meat, which is the variant of
Mhm.
pastrami and Schwartz's smoked meat in Montreal, where I've been several times. Very good product. I love that. But at least they have their own distinct flavors and signature items, no matter how repulsive one may find poutine and cheese curds. But Edmonton, I'm like thinking, what do they got? They got like ices on ice, or do they just
People was joking whale blubber. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
But they're landlocked.
Whale
That's the
blubber
thing.
is an
They're
excellent
not even
answer.
like in Newfoundland. It's not even whale blubber. It's just like,
I don't know
like
what
you
you get
said,
there.
it could be mall food. I'm just baffled. If there's anybody out there that's been to Edmonton, or do they have a specialty? Like even Calgary is cowboy land and oil land, and I think they have cattle
They
there.
probably have cattle, yeah.
I don't think they have a goddamn thing in Edmonton except a hockey team.
Maybe it's like, when you're going through the countryside in Italy and everybody's got boar on the menu because there's just wild pigs everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the cuisine of Edmonton, is they just cook wolf. Maybe if you show up, it's like wolf on a
Are
stick,
people
wolf
eating
burgers.
Jesus.
All I know,
I'm just trying to think of the animals that would be in upper Western Canada. And
Like
wolves and
Oh,
moose
wolves would be
really,
there,
really.
and it just mystifies me because, like, even in U.S. cities that you don't normally
It's saying
associate with good
pierogies. is
pierogies.
a big Edmonton thing.
That's like Cleveland. They must have like a big
like-
Polish population
yeah,
there. Yeah, because like I was saying, even Buffalo, it's a hideous place, but they've came up with the chicken wing, and that's become theirs, or beef on weck.
Beef bison, like bison is another thing, I guess.
That makes sense.
Saskatoon berries.
Saskatoon berries. I don't even want to
This
think
is
what
in
that is. Is
Alberta.
that like a Rocky Mountain
It sounds
oyster?
like a sexual position. God.
All right. This is my question for the day. Thank you for looking it up, but I've never heard of anybody extolling the food scene in Edmonton or Alberta. But
You've never heard anybody extolling the food scene in Canada because,
Yeah,
again,
I was gonna say.
as I've been saying on the Defo show, it is a cultural wasteland.
No, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Cultural-
Toronto is one
I
of
was
the
gonna say
world's great
Toronto's like a big
cities, and
city,
Toronto has great restaurants.
All of which are knockoffs from other cultures.
And Montreal has very good restaurants, as does Quebec City.
Again, Toronto, lots of B+ Italian. Montreal, lots of B+ French.
All right, this is a man.
It is a cultural
He's not a big
wasteland.
Canada
I think this is
fan.
a man that has an aversion to points north. He doesn't
He's
like
not a
Boston.
big Northeast guy, no, or Canada.
I assume you don't like Vermont or Maine either. even
Probably
though
not.
I'm
Brian's
not a
from-
big Bernie Sanders fan.
It's
no.
New England now. It's the New England area.
All right, let's take our first break.
Yes.
Before we do,
Remember, you do have a contest. You were teasing.
I know, but that's going to be after the break. We got to
Okay.
keep the people engaged
There you
and
go.
interested somehow.
Okay. Not by our talking.
Let's talk about our friends at Tropical Acres going into this Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, it's a great Father's Day place.
Because they will be open. This is the last Sunday of the year that they will be open because they're typically closed on Sundays except for some holidays, and
Yeah.
Father's Day is one of them. From 3 o'clock to 8 p.m. There's still some availability left. Give them a call at Tropical Acres 954-989-2500, and you can treat Dad to the meal of his dreams, which will include a beautifully roasted prime rib. They also have those great steaks like filet mignon. They have rack of lamb, and they have the twin lobster
The
special.
special,
Although
yep.
it's not on the special price that you
Yeah.
find Monday through Friday. So
Yeah.
you can go in there tonight
Yeah.
and get your twin steamed lobsters from Ken's favorite, the Northeast
He's not a
borders,
big
Maine or
lobster
maybe
guy.
New Hampshire, or
Rock lobster's better.
Massachusetts.
He likes a
And
Florida lobster more.
$39 tonight for those twin Maine lobsters with salad and side dish. Or on Sunday, I think they will be available while supplies last, probably a little bit higher rate, usually $44 on Saturday. I'm assuming the same on Sunday for Father's Day. Go in there, treat him the way that you would want to treat yourself if you're a dad. Well, hope somebody treats you there too. I'm just, I love Tropical Acres. They are, again, tonight they're going to have the happy hour in the bar, Monday
I
through
love that.
Friday,
Even
4:30 to
Fridays.
6:30, Monday, Tuesday. If you miss Father's Day, go in there next week.
How
Monday,
long has
Tuesday.
Tropical Acres been around?
75
Thank you for
years.
mentioning that. They just celebrated their 75th anniversary.
And that's really, you don't get to 75 in the restaurant business
without doing
Without
something.
doing-
something right.
Right.
really in general things, right?
There
Not
you
just
go.
something, pretty much everything.
Go in there, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right.
All right, the Lunchbox has sent us here to Wicked Cheesesteaks. We just tried the New Yorker cheesesteak. It was fantastic.
down
We
with
had some
this.
buffalo medium wings. Coming up, we'll dive into some other dishes and some other conversation here on the Gulfstream Park 10 Palms Friday from Wicked Cheesesteaks of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And yes, the contest, the 10 Palms brunch voucher contest will be next.
One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. Are you looking for a good New York style slice? How about lunch specials for under $9 that come with garlic rolls and a fountain drink? I'm talking about Stromboli Pizza Kitchen in the Fountains of Plantation, 801 South University Drive. Since 1987, it's been home to Brooklyn-style pies and slices, heroes and paninis, pastas, and all your Italian-American favorites. It's got the unpretentious vibe of the pizza places of my youth with daily specials, family dinners, outdoor seating, eat-in, carry-out, or delivery. Open 7 days a week. Go to strombolispizza.com to place your order today. From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have daily happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and boy, we've just got loaded up with more food. Cheesesteak pizza. He does a really nice pizza here. It's again a little bit on the I guess a little bit thicker side, but it's chewier. It's delicious. He uses great cheese, and again, he tops it with some of the shaved ribeye and some mushrooms and onions. So you get yourself a chili
Best of both worlds.
Philly cheesesteak pizza, and then we've got the lobster mac and cheese, which, as you can see here,
Has a lot of lobster.
back in the day, we would call sometimes like you would see that lobster Newburg on menus on a Friday at places, and Brian brings in some great fresh Maine lobster and shucks them usually a few times a week, and then he has all kinds of products, great lobster rolls, along with I think he could do a lobster quesadilla on request, and then he's also got the lobster mac and cheese. I don't know how you feel about seafood with cheese, but
I'm not big on it. It's not a big combo for me.
Some cases, I think it works very well, and this would be one of those cases. I'm going to get it there in a minute.
I got to say that is
Lubie.
a food trend of like the 2000s. I'm not big on is everybody making all these funky or fancier versions of mac and cheese. I feel like mac and cheese is one of those dishes that was just fine to be by itself.
This just in from Gulfstream. My sister-in-law reports no racing on Saturday. Apparently, the conditions have not dried out, and this really throws a monkey wrench into my contest, considering I was going to make it Saturday's fourth race. I'm going to scramble, and we're going to still have a contest, and we'll just do. You know what? On the next break, I will come up with a substitute race, probably from Belmont at Aqueduct. And
final score of the Spain-Croatia match.
No, we're going to get into that in a second. So I'm going to hold off on the contest then, because I do need to find a substitute race. And I don't want to get into all the particulars until I figure that out. So, again, no racing on Saturday, simulcast only. I'm not sure if 10 Palms is going to be open or closed tomorrow. Usually it's only open when they have live racing. We'll try to clarify that. Okay. And, again, they still are looking on course for Father's Day, having live racing and 10 Palms Sunday brunch. So we'll keep you updated on that. And that will bring us into another food topic, which will be well, let's go on the lighter side first. I know that you are a very much interested person in the whole competitive eating world, Ken.
I'm really not.
Okay.
I'm just fascinated by this. I'm just fascinated by this story because everybody's now mad at Nathan's Hot Dogs for kicking Joey Chestnut out over a sponsorship with Impossible Dogs, whereas I am fully with the Nathan's people. Vegans disgust me. And if you're going to sponsor vegan hot dogs, you deserve to be kicked off the professional hot dog eating.
I just want to see a vegan hot dog eating contest, and I said the over/under is like there's 6.
How many can you eat before you get sick?
How many vegan dogs would you eat before you just vomit from disgust? Because
I wouldn't eat any. I wouldn't have a bite.
Yeah, so
fake vegan meat is of no interest to me whatsoever.
But being everybody being as enterprising as they are, Nathan's is getting a lot of publicity from this. Who knows if they will come to some 11th hour agreement? But now it seems like
their Netflix thing is.
It seems like now
They're screwed.
Now, okay. Joey Chestnut has
Mhm.
announced that he's going to be having a big showdown versus
Correct.
I mean, it's
the
not a
former
showdown.
hot dog champion
We've seen
Kobayashi
him
from
kick his ass like
Japan.
10 times.
It confuses me because just 2 weeks ago, Kobayashi announced his supposed retirement from competitive eating.
Yeah, he's past it.
But now he's going to be in a competitive
Yeah, for
eating
this
event with Chestnut.
Whether it gets the guy
Chestnut's
who's
going to
better than him
destroy
anyway.
him.
Yeah.
Because Kobayashi just is a shell of his former self. He
Right.
was a superhuman creature when he first came on the scene, and nobody could believe how this kind of
'Cause it was
very
thin.
slight,
Yeah, it was
thin
thin.
Yeah.
Japanese fellow could consume. I think at one point he was doing 50 to
I think he did
55
50.
hot dogs in 10 minutes, and then Chestnut came along and just inhaled him like the little gnat that he looked like, and and then Joey just continued to crush it in 70, 75, 72. I don't know what the record is, but the bottom line is now both of them are not going to be in the world of Nathan's.
Correct.
Who's going to step into that world? Who knows? Who cares?
Does anybody really care?
I
This
guess
is
not.
my thing
Well-
with the viewership. Are you really not going to watch? If you watch, and I have never watched one of the Nathan's things,
I
but
always
if you
watched
watch,
it.
are you not going to watch because there's no Joey
Two-
Chestnut?
2 holiday traditions I always loved
Okay.
was the Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon and seeing a disheveled, sweating Jerry Lewis, singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" for the kids, and seeing what that final total was going to be on Labor Day weekend for the muscular dystrophy telethon. I would weep every year and cry for Jerry and Jerry's kids. And then July 4th, once they started televising it, and again, as a native Brooklynite, this really is championship material where, I once went out live in person and watched it before the days of Kobayashi, where you would see guys struggle to eat, 20, 25 hot dogs. But, I always tune it in every year, and I always usually grill up a pack of Nathan's hot dogs with the casings. I eat them like a normal human being. I usually have 2 of them, and my late mom loves having 2 Nathan's hot dogs on July 4th. These are the things that mean something to me
you're
as
New
an
Yorker.
American. By the way, happy Flag Day, everybody.
There you
Happy
go.
birthday to
My
Lubie's
father,
dad.
Robert Lewis.
And, it's also a birthday of a certain
Basically,
ex-president, felonious
When
ex-president.
you think America, you think gluttony
Hello.
and drunken celebrities making putzes of themselves on television.
Yes.
Okay.
So it all ties in. But
USA,
now,
USA.
so now instead of Jerry's kids on Labor Day weekend, we're going to be getting the Kobayashi Joey Chestnut duel on Netflix. And Netflix has now gotten into this live programming. And first it was
Yes.
the roast of your favorite athlete of all time.
First, it
Tom
was
Brady.
the Chris Rock.
Yeah, the
concert.
Rock thing. The
Oh,
Rock
I
show.
believe was the
Rock.
first one.
Oh, okay. Well, now we're going to have this, and I really don't care. What are they? Are they going to be consuming hot dogs, or is it kind of like they should have a decathlon, like have 10 different food items?
The picture on the advertising is hot dogs, so
Well,
I'm assuming it's.
They're
gonna be
giving
hot
Kobayashi a
dogs.
chance, though, because the
That
last few times
bores
Chestnut
me.
kicked his ass.
I would like to see a call it a decathlon of eating, and where you have 10 different food items, and maybe Kobayashi has his specialties. Maybe it's uni or some other sushi product. Maybe ramen noodles. I mean, I want to see them go.
I
head to
actually
head.
happen to know this.
Yeah.
It's the one Kobayashi record that has never been broken. It has never been. It's cow brains is his
Oh my god,
ultimate specialty.
that's like something I would try doing. But man, all right. Well, and then you were
I don't know
wondering,
Chestnut's doing that.
is there any kind of competitive drinking, counterpart to the competitive eating world? Because you were talking about how U.S. is about to take on Ireland in cricket to make it to
Jim
the Great
was talking
Eight.
about that.
Yeah, of
To
course.
be clear, I was not talking about
Okay.
that.
And we don't know. I was, you were saying that U.S. actually might win because Ireland is not good in any sport except
Not
hurling.
Not that I know of.
Not curling, but hurling. And
I
hurling,
thought hurling was Scottish.
you know what? You might be right. Hurling might be what they do after they
I thought you were
drink
talking
25
about giving up
Guinnesses.
food from your body. Yes, that's what I thought you meant. by
Yeah.
hurling.
No, hurling is
I
it's
don't
a-
even know what hurling is. So there you
it's actually a legitimate sport. I think it used to be in the. I have no idea if
Never
it's in
heard
the
of hurling.
Olympics. But then it got me wondering if Ireland has the world record holder in Guinness consumption,
And they do.
They do.
But it's a weird record because it's apparently over 3 days and it's 81 over 3 days, which I don't know. Since you were talking about college, my 1 year in college, one of the traditions was I'm trying to remember what holiday
Drinking
weekend it was.
Guinness?
It was a
Drowning
hundred the
Guinness?
100 beer weekend, and it
Oh,
was a
God.
long
Really?
weekend.
Oh God!
And you drank 100
He was in
beers.
Wisconsin, and so they do a lot of drinking there. That is just to.
It's better than
give
eating
it a-
cheese curds, I guess.
It's absolutely better than eating cheese curds, particularly on fries.
There you go. Hey,
But-
let's take
But
a-
now on the hot dog
Okay.
issue, this is why I wanted to bring this up.
Yep.
You probably didn't see this, but the internet golf girl, Paige Spiranek,
I didn't even know there's an internet golf girl who is. I mean, you showed me the
She's
video.
a pro golfer. She's a pro
she
golfer.
used to be a pro golfer. She's now basically a bikini model.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her career has much bigger since she became a bikini model.
So
Anyway,
kind of like the Jan Stevenson of the 2020s.
yes, she on Twitter volunteered to
Like
take
cornucopia.
Joey Chestnut's place and did a demonstration video where she ate 6 hot dogs in 10 minutes, which actually is more hot dogs than you ate during your challenge.
Yes. 100%. He did.
So
5
I'm
in 10
just
minutes.
wondering how it feels to get outdone by the golf girl in the hot dog eating challenge.
So as I noted, this was a very dark cloud in my past where I attempted to eat a bunch of hot
That was
dogs
2 years ago, I
live on a Lunchbox
That
show,
was 2 years ago.
and it was a pathetic performance. And my downfall again, what was it, Lubie?
Well, you overshot it. You're trying to get cute and be like, not only I can eat, because we said the over under at
10?
7.
Or
No, no, no,
six?
no.
Okay.
I think it was 7. And you're like, well, I'll get 7 easy. I'm gonna get a potato buns. I'm not even gonna do the cheapy ones that are like white bread that go down like air. I'm gonna get thick, heavy potato buns.
Heavy potato.
and you ate like
buns.
5.
The
I'm like, I think I
Martins,
can eat more than 5.
potato rolls. Really a serious tactical error on my part.
Yeah, you overshot it.
And the other problem was I didn't do it the way that these guys do by taking out the hot dogs and chowing them down and then just rolling up the bread and sticking it
Yeah,
in
but that I-
liquid and then just like, swallowing it without even
Neither,
chewing.
neither
I don't know
did
if I
she,
could
by
do
the way,
that.
in the video.
Yeah,
She's
she's not
just
gonna do all
eating straight buns.
Well, but she took out the hot dogs and had it separate. I ate the whole thing like with the hot dog and bun, like you would eat a normal hot dog. And again, my technique was atrocious. My strategy was terrible, and I will never.
Well, now
attempt
with your
that again.
health restraints, we're not gonna make you do that ever
No,
again.
thank you very much. And yeah, but with my health restraints, here I am.
You're still eating all this.
A pastrami cheesecake, a cheesecake pizza, and
Which
a
is
mac and
excellent,
cheese.
by the way.
The wings are those are keto friendly, and
They are. They're not
It's all good.
health friendly, really. But
Hey, let's take one more another break, and
And
then I'll
then we
figure
will
out what
do
I'm
the
going to do with the
contest.
contest. But let's first talk about this. Is going to be exciting. This is a contest, food eating contest that I'm going to get on board with. I'm actually organizing it.
yeah, I'm super stoked.
But it's part of this overall Oyster Fest. We're calling it Pearl Jam by the Sea. We're holding it in conjunction with our fine friends at the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. VLFoodWine.com is the website to go online and get your tickets now for the event we're holding with Even Keel Fish Shack in Lauderdale by the Sea. And we're calling it Pearl Jam by the Sea because there's going to be raw oysters, unlimited sparkling beverages, bubbly and sparkling wine. And then we're also going to have good music, and some of the jams will be featuring some of your greatest hits from Eddie Vedder and crew, even though Eddie Vedder will not be there. But, excuse me, got a little bit of that.
Oh, you're getting
cheesesteak.
a Pearl Jam cover band?
Something
It's
of
like
that nature, I guess,
as a musician that will be doing some, and we're going to be having some Pearl Jam themed. We're going to be having a Vitalogy Bellini bar to mix with your sparkling wines, and of course all the oysters that you can consume between 1 and 4 p.m. And then we're going to have an oyster eating contest for some special guests that I'm putting together. Whoever can eat the most oysters in 5 minutes, 60, or whoever consumes 60 oysters.
There's a
quickest.
good trivia question.
Yeah.
What was the band's Pearl Jam's original band name before they were forced to change for
Oh, we did
copyright
this,
reasons
yeah,
by the
in
record
trivia
label?
a couple weeks ago.
Diced onions. I don't know.
Diced onions.
What was it?
It was Mookie Blaylock.
Mookie Blaylock.
Yeah, they're from
Interesting.
Atlanta. I guess.
Well,
they're
I
Hawks
hope
fans.
Pearl Jam doesn't come after us for the Pearl Jam by the Sea,
Yeah,
but
we'll
we
see.
again got the by the sea. And go online, vlfoodwine.com or eventbrite.com, and just do a Google search for Even Keel Oyster Fest, or
I have the actual
you have
link
it on
there.
the call.
Yeah,
Excellent.
the link's actually.
And it's going to be a fun time. Saturday, August
Oyster
8th,
Fest
1 to
at
4
Eventbrite.
p.m. And again, all kinds of fun for everybody. And if you're not into the raw oysters, they're still going to have their regular
The other
brunch
menu.
menu available. But I would highly recommend this is a great deal. It's going to be, unlimited oysters, unlimited bubbly, and a lot of fun. Saturday, August 10th. We'll see you there. All right, let's take another break.
When we come back, we will finally get to this week's Gulfstream Park 10 Palms brunch voucher contest, and we'll have more food discussion. The professor, our special guest here, also one of the proprietors of the Foundry off Atlantic Boulevard, just east of Federal Highway. Mike Mayo, and myself, Lubie, after this, here, more Mike Mayo's Lunchbox from Wicked Cheesesteaks here in Fort Lauderdale.
Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-face smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. All right, we're back here on the Lunchbox at Wicked Cheesesteaks, Pizza, and more. 4826 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, right by Commercial Boulevard. We're not at Gulfstream Park or 10 Palms today, and the word is no racing at Gulfstream tomorrow, and no 10 Palms is tomorrow either, but they are on track to be reopening for the Sunday, Father's Day, Sunday racing card with a beautiful Father's Day brunch buffet for Dad at 10 Palms. Again, up-to-date information, go to gulfstreampark.com, and you can make your reservations now for Father's Day. Okay, I have figured out the contest. Okay. And meanwhile, look at this. We had the wings. We had the New Yorker pastrami combo cheesesteak. We have the cheesesteak pizza with pieces of shaved ribeye, mushrooms, and onion. We have the lobster mac and cheese. And now Brian drops the coconut cream pie dessert.
Giant thing of coconut cream pie.
And aren't you glad I got the Diet Dad's root beer to go along with it?
Marianne from Gilligan's Island would be very proud.
And I am looking more portly in this blue. I gotta sit
You
up.
actually haven't eaten that much.
No,
I've
I've been
housed
good.
everything.
I was on the scale yesterday. I'm doing well
You've
until
been all right.
sometimes when all these flood events and the rain, you get cabin fever. There's nothing to do but eat.
Well, that's
And,
what Maurice said. The Panthers gained like 10 pounds because
oh,
they were hanging out the facility all day freaking
Oh.
Wednesday.
well, that's why they looked a little sluggish
There
in
you
the
go.
third period. Maybe they'll be better off. Well, they're in good
We're
shape
surprised
anyway.
Saturday.
So,
They'll be fine.
all right, let's do
Let's
it.
get to
I
a
figured
contest,
out the
sir.
contest.
Okay.
And I don't even want to chance it by going to Sunday's card because
Just
the
go to
way the
another
weather
track.
is here. We're going to another track. We're going to go north, just like we're doing 10 Palms at Wicked Cheesesteaks. We're going to do Belmont at Aqueduct because Belmont's under renovations and they're running their races at Aqueduct Racetrack in
Yes.
New York. So we're going to make the contest race. Well, here we go. It's time for this week's Lunchbox Gulfstream 10 Palm Sunday brunch giveaway. What you're going to do is email the answer to this week's restaurant trivia questions along with your horse selection for this week's contest race, which is going to be, okay, get this, everybody. It's their stakes race, the $200,000 Bed of Roses handicap, the 10th race on the card at Belmont at Aqueduct tomorrow, Saturday the 15th. The 10th race, numbers 1 through 10. It's a 10-horse field scheduled to go 7 furlongs on the main track, Bed of Roses handicap, 1 through 10, along with, get this, it's a little bit different. Going to want the tiebreaker this week is going to be the winner and the total number of goals scored by both teams, not just the winning margin, but total number of
Yeah,
goals
what's the goal?
in Saturday's game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals between Edmonton and Florida Panthers. So let's say you're going to say Florida wins and completes the sweep and say
And give
5
your
goals scored overall. So something along those
Got
lines. All right. And again, the game is in Edmonton, 8 o'clock or about 8:20. Puck drop Saturday on ABC. If multiple entrants have all 3 elements right, there'll be a tiebreaker drawing on Monday's Lunchbox. And the winner gets Sunday brunch for 2 at 10 Palms at Gulfstream, including the buffet, 1 mimosa piece, tax and tip included. All right.
Good prize.
It's a great prize. We love it out there. Joe Beja
Joe
in
Beja.
Italy, but he's got very capable people running the
Yeah.
show there in his absence. Tommy, the assistant, and the new chef, Jason, Jason Gluse. We got to meet him last week at the event they had, the New York Taste of the Track for the Belmont, and just came in from Orlando, has worked at some really big properties.
Yep.
And we're going to have him, weather permitting, on next Friday's Lunchbox back at 10 Palms. Meanwhile, I see it's pouring here.
Yeah, it's pouring again.
I get a little
Wow.
nervous. Hope that's
Your
doing
house
okay down at
is-
the
is
Mayo
having a tough
Homestead.
week.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get
At least
back,
you're
but
not there.
all right. Finally, let's get
the
to it.
restaurant. Blanche is
For this
asking.
week's restaurant, you'll never guess the theme, Lubie.
Uh,
For this week's restaurant, we celebrate all the dads out there
I was gonna say, is it out of Edmonton?
for Father's Day. Here we go, the clues. This Lighthouse Point restaurant on Federal Highway is a casual spin-off of the former seafood
Oh,
world
dear God.
fish market and restaurant next door. And again, this spin-off restaurant, that's the name we're looking for. It opened in 2014 and is named in honor
Because
of
we know very well who
Yes.
did have bad
proprietor
reasons.
Troy Ganter's father. Okay, it opened in 2014, named in honor of proprietor Troy Ganter's father, and it is a spin-off restaurant of the famed
That now has its
Seafood
own spinoff.
that has, well, yes, okay. Now, although the name implies freshly shucked clams, oysters, and chilled seafood, there are plenty of cooked dishes available,
Yeah.
including excellent fried
They
rice
make a good fried rice. Yeah,
and blackened swordfish
the
bites.
sushis are good. They do a good job with sushi.
Well, that would fit with the
yeah,
uncooked theme.
yeah.
All right. And then number 3, we're just going to bring it on home. Seafood World was founded in 1976 by Hugh Gantner and remains as a fish market, although now it has a different and more paternalistic name, also a spinoff of the spinoff. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Good luck, happy weekend, and happy Father's Day. Again, we're looking for the name of the spinoff restaurant that opened next to Seafood World in 2014, and which is going very strong. And now it also has an adjacent seafood fresh fish market that used to be known as Seafood World. Everybody got that?
Yep.
Yes, we know it well.
We're
Okay.
very familiar.
Does
My
it
friends
fit
who work
with
there got
Father's
screwed
Day, the whole Father's Day
Yes,
thing?
it
It does.
definitively
I
does. Yes.
particularly are a fan of the Smurfs.
Hey.
He added another.
There we go.
If you didn't
Smurfs,
need it.
there you go.
That's actually
I was going to say a
great.
folk music group, but you just call it the
The
blank
opposite,
and the,
yes,
oh, wait,
yes.
the mamas and the
Yes,
something
yes,
like that.
yes.
All right, that's very easy. Can we take our final break
We
now and call
can.
this a week? Because it has
Yeah.
been a long
I
week.
see
I
you're
cannot wait
stressing out
to
at
start
the rain.
drinking.
God.
Might play a little poker tonight. Just swim on over to
I was
the
gonna say we need to
casino.
take an airboat over there or what?
Yeah,
Airboat.
you're
My neighbor literally has a kayak that he pulls out of his garage in times like these. Let's talk about our friends at J&C Seafood. We again had to
screwed. Yeah, we're
postpone
almost there
this
week.
week's edition of the Lunchbox, along with their grand opening ribbon cutting. But we do have a new date on the calendar. It's going to be Thursday, June 20th. This coming up Thursday, we will be there for a special show with Chef Raheem and Chef Monica, along with the owner Caesar. It's only been open for about 2 months, and they are just knocking it out of the park with some of their high-end seafood. It's at 2035 Harrison Street. And on the ribbon cutting grand opening edition next Thursday, we'll also be joined by Hollywood Mayor
It's
Josh
gonna be
Levy,
interesting. Yeah, I was gonna
who,
talk to you about it.
big food fan, and also another event that thing. Hollywood is like downtown, showing some renewed signs of restaurant life. They just opened a new food hall down there. I'm interested to get in on that. That's our friend Steve DePuzzo, who operates the Sistrunk
Right?
food hall. Just opened up a new food hall right there in that great Southern Hotel it used to be. Now they built a big condo, but they preserved the facade of the Great Southern Hotel and now put in a food hall. I'm hearing good buzz about it, so I'm going to get in there soon too. But again, J&C Oyster, go in there Wednesday through Sunday, open for dinner. Really good happy hour where they have excellent value. Both some of the great food items like the fried chicken.
No, the happy hour is fantastic.
With the chili butter, it's really good stuff, along with some those broiled oysters with that spicy yuzu mayonnaise.
Yep.
Excellent stuff. Really high quality cuisine. Can't wait to get back in there next week. All right, let's take the final break.
We will finish up this week at Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on a Gulfstream Park 10 Pound Friday from Wicked Cheesesteaks after this.
Prezzo Italian Restaurants. 2 locations. Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail, and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com. Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices, served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Okay, we have done it. It's the end of a very long week. We're at Wicked Cheesesteaks and finished off with coconut cream pie, just what I need on my diet with Dad's diet root beer. I got to give him props because, everybody has their foods that they just don't like. And, for me, it's mangoes and coconut. Like coconut flavor I like. But the actual
pieces,
texture of like shredded coconut or toasted coconut, just not my bag. But this coconut cream pie, the whipped cream on top is unbelievable. It's real whipped cream. You can tell.
What's yours, Lubie, by the way? The one thing that's like
onions,
above all else.
You know me, raw onions. I'm weird
Raw
with
onions,
raw onions.
but you can do it with
I'll
cooked
put
onions?
onions on anything.
I know. What do you mean? Surely we'll just eat onions.
I'll
Like,
put
my grandmother would make
onions on a
sandwich of
Snickers
onions,
bar. Like
I know it's needed for flavoring.
it's actually interesting you brought that up because there was a list going around Twitter this week, and it was like 1 point for everything you won't eat.
Right.
And they're like 50 things, and everybody else was like 10, 12. It's like 1, and they're like, which one? I was like, white chocolate. I can't stand white
And there
chocolate.
was a thread going on Let's Eat about what's the one thing that some people love and eat and that you just can't fathom how anybody eats it or, likes it, let alone eats it.
Mhm.
And, people put on, some people just don't like oni. There was a
Uni's
lot
fine,
of, some people.
My dad loved beets. I cannot stand
I'm not a
beets, and
beet
it's
guy.
something
I'm
about
not
the
a beet
smell of
guy.
cooking them more than the taste of them.
Well,
honestly.
somebody put
guy.
beets and just said it just smells like dirt.
Yep,
when you cook
that's
it.
when they're cooked. There's something about the smell.
And my item that I put on the list was natto, which is fermented soybean paste. It's like a Japanese dish.
Oh, people like it though.
And it's a fermented like soybean paste. It's like stringy. When you pull it out, it looks like a spider web. Like when
Really?
you run into a spider leg and you pull
I
it
can
out.
see that.
I've never even heard of
But it
this.
just has. You know me. I'm a guy that likes my funk. I like
Yeah,
my
you like that
uni
funk,
and the
yeah,
sea
yeah.
urchin. I
Or
do
black
like my
garlic, fermented garlic.
I like dry
Fantastic.
aged
Oh,
steaks. I
fermented
do
garlic's
like
great.
all manner of fermented things. But this natto is nasty. It's just I had it once in Japan when I was there for the Olympics, and I would rather have had the horse that they also served at the same restaurant.
Masashi.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Have you had it?
Yes.
The ones that you bet on and finished last.
I don't know that I would necessarily do it again, but it wasn't that bad.
Hey, you want to talk about not bad, but just the height, the paramount of just gastronomic ecstasy. I'm talking about Casa D'Angelo. I was just in there for a friend's 60th birthday last week. Angelo Ilia is also a master of hospitality. He treated us right. And boy, did we have a great meal. Some veal chops with the onions and gorgonzola. We had some beautiful gnocchi, gorgonzola also. It's top quality ingredients, impeccable service. They know how to make things right. So whether you're celebrating a special occasion like an anniversary or a birthday, graduation, retirement, or just any occasion of having date night on a nice weekend, a rainy night like tonight, go into Casa D'Angelo, flagship location right down the block here, 1201 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. They also got locations in Aventura, where our friend Giovanni Rocchio is now the executive chef, and we'll get in there for a show with him and Angelo next month. And of course, they have one up in Boca Raton where executive chef Ricky makes sure everything is top notch. Also, Casa D'Angelo, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Go online for reservations and more information at casadangelo.com. And of course, we've got our friends at Batch. We had a great job.
That was fun yesterday.
You're a fan of the place. You like that jambalaya.
He does like Patrick.
And yesterday we sat down with
And the loaded tots were also
that's on the
star.
happy hour menu. It's staying on the happy hour.
Yeah, I love that they're revamping it too.
But the beautiful new dishes that they're bringing to the menu: blackened redfish, a blast from the
Oh.
New Orleans past.
Yeah,
Nice.
who doesn't like
And
that?
they created this thing that I'd never heard of.
Yesterday, when I tell you, like, you would have expect finding this at one of these like James Beard award-winning restaurants or
Right.
our friends at the Catherine, but this was a beautifully just
It was cooked
impeccably
perfectly.
seared piece of blackened redfish over what they call a grits cake. It's kind of like
Oh, I do
polenta.
that for shrimp. It's really
Okay.
good. Yeah.
This was great, creamy, kind of a polenta type thing with top quality
actual
milled
grits.
grits,
Yep.
and with a corn succotash on top.
Yeah, I
and-
like to do. I traditionally do it with crawfish, but it's hard to find good crawfish around here if you're not Tom T. But I like when the Key West pink shrimps are in season. I like to do that with a grit cake with some andouille sausage and a
That
little
sounds
cheese.
good too. But they're really getting it done at Batch. And again, they have the great weekend brunch Saturday and
Yep.
Sunday, 525 North Federal Highway. All right. Thanks again for tuning in.
Stay
Again, the
dry, South
contest
Florida.
race is going to be the 10th race at Belmont at Aqueduct instead of a Gulfstream race. And it's going to be a 10-horse field. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us. Thank you, Ken, for filling in quite capably.
Anytime.
We didn't get to, one of the big food topics of the day is all these restaurant closures and
We can
what's
talk about that
driving it.
another time.
Well, you'll be back, I have
Yeah.
a feeling. And good luck to the USA in their big cricket match against Ireland. Good luck to, I don't even know what's going on in the U.S. Open because is it still Fox that's showing that? Or or is it NBC?
It's NBC.
Okay.
As Jim Sarney pointed out, there's some random Belgian who's I think it's Hercule Poirot now.
Perot.
Tomas Dietrich, I don't know how you pronounce it, is leading by 1 stroke, and Cantley just started.
I bet he eats his French fries with mayonnaise if
Probably.
he's from
Which
Belgium.
is better than poutine.
That is.
It's
All
less
right.
repulsive than poutine.
Good luck to the Panthers
Come on,
tomorrow.
Cats.
Until next week, enjoy every
Father's Day
sandwich,
out.
everybody.